Welcome to my world, where you will experience an atmosphere of love, relevant subjects, and motivation. So let's talk about things that matter. What matters to you matters to me. How many of us have had certain emotions and feelings that we have become experts in suppressing them? We've hid our emotions. We have internalized our emotions. We don't want nobody to know about what we truly feel. But did you know that there is a danger to that in suppressing your emotions and not wanting to discuss them or talk about them? That's what we're going to talk about today on the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Today we're going to go into part 3 of our series called The Danger of Internalizing Your Feelings or Your Emotions. Many of us have feelings or we have emotions, whether you are aware of them or not. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is to share your emotions or feelings with another person, especially if you have been hurt. We typically put up a wall and we won't allow anyone else access into that department of our lives based on hurt that you may be currently going through, or maybe it was a past hurt that you've went through. We tend to just pretty much internalize and hide those emotions. In fact, in general, it's hard to open up to anyone, period, because you're always afraid, how will they accept me? Will I be believable? Will they not judge me? Will they retaliate against me if I really came out and shared how and what I am really feeling? So that can be hard sometimes, and I totally can understand that. Some people have become experts in internalizing their feelings. These type of people, they shut down. They become overwhelmed with their emotions and their feelings. And instead of expressing their feelings and their thoughts, we're talking about tormented thoughts and all these things that they're dealing with in their life. Instead of sitting down talking with someone, we hide them. We hide those emotions. We hide those feelings. Let us define what the word internalize or internalizing means. What does that mean? If you feel anger, pain, fear, or hurt, but never show it, you internalize it. You keep it inside. That word enter simply means something that's within. Internalizing, the word enter, it simply means something that's within. Or to keep or take something in. It never comes out. You hide it. It becomes your home, your ultimate safe place. So how many of us today have internalized our emotions? I have, and I'm not ashamed to say it. There's a freedom that comes with the ability to be able to share our feelings and emotions with other people, even though it may be risky. But at least you had the courage to open up and to be able to share your emotions and your feelings with other people. That is very important. I'd rather you do that than you to internalize it or to take it in or to keep it in. I'd rather you do that than for you to finally get to the point where you finally explode. Because that's what happens when you keep stuff in. So here's something you need to know. When you find yourself emotional, you need to do either one or two things. Number one, you will explode. That word means to burst violently as a result of pressure from within. That word enter, what I say, from within, or to take something in or keep something in. You will explode or you will implode. That word means to collapse or cause a collapse violently inwardly. it's kind of strange how everything always starts from within. That's where we keep all our heartache. That's where we keep all our pain, our disappointments, the devastation we've experienced in our lives, all of our hurts. It's almost like I said earlier, it's almost like a home. It's a part of us that we rather just keep to ourselves. It's like a baby. We're just protected. We keep it to ourselves. We don't want nobody else to know about it. We want nobody else to know our struggles, what's on our minds, the thoughts that we're having, the pain that you are experiencing. We don't want nobody to know, so we rather internalize it and keep it to ourselves. This is especially dangerous in marriage and relationships. And I've been there. When you sit there and you say, oh, nothing's wrong, I'm okay. And you know in your heart that something is wrong. You know in your heart that you need to release those emotions, not in a way to hurt someone, but to just free yourselves. When you release your emotions, you are freeing yourself. When you release how you feel, you are freeing yourself. You're no longer keeping that on the inside of you. So keeping things inside of you is never good. And I totally understand that there are various reasons why people do it, which we will discuss here shortly. It is always a good idea to share your feelings with someone. But let me ask you this question. Do your feelings even matter if there isn't someone there to validate them? Do they even matter? Because I'm telling you what happens. Sometimes we won't share our feelings because we're afraid that no one will believe it or they won't validate how I feel. It's not about them validating how you feel. You have to get to the place in your life where you have to open up to someone. Let me give you an example. I want to use this just for an example. Of course, it's a wine glass, the only thing I can find around the house. And this glass is symbolic to you. You are the glass. This water here is your emotions. We're talking about anger, resentment, bitterness. All of that is going inside of you. I want you to pay attention to this. This is going to be profound. Those things you don't want to talk about, those things you don't want to discuss, you're saying you're okay when in reality you're really not okay. And if you keep paying attention, you're keeping all this stuff on the inside of you. I want you to keep watching. As you continue to do that, what eventually happens when you don't talk about it? Look what's happening. Look at what's happening. It begins to get out of control. Did you see that example? Your emotions begin to explode. They begin to get out of control because instead of coming out and talking about your emotions and how you feel, what happens is you allow those emotions to build on top of each other, one emotion after another, and it begins to explode. It begins to get out of control. This explains a lot of things that people go through today because they don't want to talk about it. We rather just keep those emotions in until it finally gets to the point where it's out of control and there's nothing you can do about it. When what you should be doing, you should be talking about how you feel and talking about the things that's hurting you and disappointing you. Never keep your emotions in. It is important to talk about those things in your heart that you want to talk about. And I understand that it's a process. We're just like that cup. We just hide it in there. We don't want nobody to know. But it will cost you in the long run. Is it even important to you to have someone to share your feelings with? Does it even matter to you? Because this goes back to episode number 1. How you feel is important. Are your feelings important to you? Does it even matter to you to share those emotions and feelings with other people? How does one internalize their feelings? We know that people do it, but how do they go about doing that? People internalize their emotions. It often builds up like in stages. That's how it happens. It starts from point A to point B to point C to point D. It keeps growing and growing and growing. Internalizing your emotions always starts in stages. It is a decision we make to keep everything inside of you that's bothering you. When you keep all your feelings internally without expressing them externally, it could cause damage not only to others but to yourself, and may I add, in some instances, and I've been here, it can even affect your health. Internalizing your emotions is no different than a cancer that's inside of you. You have to, at some point, have the courage to share it, but why don't people share their feelings with other people? I've often thought about that from time to time. Why don't people share? Why do people keep that in? I talked about a brick wall earlier. Why do people have a brick wall up or on guard, don't want to talk about it? Well, here's a few reasons. Number one, they have a fear that they may be misunderstood. Number two, they have a fear that they may be judged or told that they're being too emotional. And a person that says that to an individual that's trying to open up to you, let me first of all say that it's very rude and insensitive of you to say that to someone who's had the courage to come and pour out their heart to you. Oh, you're just too emotional. No, I'm not just too emotional. There's no such thing as being too emotional. We are emotional beings. Number three, they don't do it or share their feelings because of rejection. Number four, making the person feel as though their emotions are unrealistic. In other words, not real. Oh, girl, those emotions you feeling, that's just emotions. You know, just don't worry about it. What you're feeling is not real. Let me tell you something. That is grounds for losing your mind. You're literally encouraging them to internalize it. Not only do they have it internalized, you are empowering that person. When you say things like that, oh, you're just too emotional. And when you make them to feel as though how they feel is not real to them, or what they're feeling is not real, you're actually empowering them to internalize, to keep and protect those emotions that they should be expressing externally. And number five, which is a big one, is mistrust. Sometimes we don't share stuff because we just simply don't trust people. And how many know that trust is a gift? Opening up to someone about our internal feelings can never be easy. This may take time, and it could be a long process. But have the courage today to open up. Don't allow it to get out of control. Talk about those things that bothers you. If you're angry, talk to someone. If you're disappointed, talk to someone, no matter what emotions you're feeling. Remember, there's no such thing as being too emotional. Don't allow anyone to try to discredit or devalue how you feel or to make you feel as though that you're losing your mind. These are emotions that are a part of you. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Next week we will go into part 4. And I don't know about you, but there are many benefits to sharing your emotions with other people. What are some of the benefits of opening up? Can we talk about that next week? Join me for part 4 as we continue and close out our series on emotional awareness.
Hi, if you like what you're seeing today, be sure to connect with Brother Henry at www.facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show. And also be sure to check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We hope that this has been a blessing to you, and we hope to hear from you soon. Keep watching, because what matters to you matters to Brother Henry.